Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining the live series. This is the Retail Trader Special, where every week I bring to you one topic of knowledge which will help you become a better swing trader in the stock market. I am Kavita Agrawal, the founder of EXP-Invest. Today, we are here to talk about stop losses. When it comes to stop loss in your brokerage account, you may see the option of stop loss. But as a swing trader, is it really useful to you or not? We will determine in this session. So we will take the example of two trading accounts, one from Angel One and the other will be from Zerodha. And on both the trading accounts, I will show you how to use stop loss properly. The difference will be that in the account of Zerodha, it allows you to set overnight stop loss, which means if you're a swing trader like I am, your holding period for any stock will naturally be more than 1 day. Me and my clients prefer to hold stocks for a period of minimum 2 weeks to up to few months in order to play a intermediate swing in prices, right? So we prefer to use Zerodha for this reason. I have seen that in India, very limited brokers give this facility of overnight stop losses. I find this very surprising considering stop loss plays a very important role even in your positional holdings. So without much delay, let me show you the screen of Zerodha and show you how it works on that particular trading account. Okay, so for instance, take a look at this trading account that you can see. All right. Now, in this trading account, let's create a new watch list. Okay. Now, suppose in this watch list, I want to take care of one particular stock. Okay. Suppose we'll take the example of Reliance. Now, what are the ways in which we can set stop loss? So, firstly, if you want to create stop loss, see, for the most beautiful thing about the interface of Zerodha is that it's very simple. It doesn't complicate, it doesn't use very confusing terminologies. So, whether you want to set stop loss or you want to set a target, ultimately, what you're setting is a bracket order. Okay. Now, what is a bracket order? In the interface of Zerodha, it's called a GTT. GTT stands for good till triggered. So how will you deal with this? You click on the three dots, you click on create GTT, okay, or GTC as it may be called. Now, how do you go about creating a stop loss, maybe for intraday position or delivery position? The best thing about Zerodha is that it does not differentiate between whether your stop loss is for overnight position or delivery position. It has made the interface super simple. So all you have to do is select on the transaction type sell and your trigger type single or OCO. OCO is a bracket order, basically where you want to set your stop loss and your target. Let me use this angle. So if you want to set your stop loss, right, what you're basically saying that, okay, I have a holding which is say at the price of, say you bought it at 2300, right, which is almost the current market price for for Reliance. Now, if you determine that I am willing to take, suppose, a 3% risk basis, whatever, may it be your analysis, may it be your analyst's advice. Okay. What you're going to do is you will first of all select the quantity in your holding. This can be 100. Okay. Let's, for example, take 100. Now, there are two ways you can set the positional based stop loss. You can either enter -3 or you can go ahead and enter the exact amount. Say it is 2228. Right. Now, there are two prices that you need to enter in Zerodha, or whenever you enter stop loss, you will always be asked to enter two types of prices. One is called the trigger price and one is called the just the price, or it may be called the limit price. Sometimes there is also option of using a trigger price and setting the option of letting your stop loss get triggered at whatever is the market price after that. However, as per a recent SEBI regulation, the stop loss market price feature is going to get removed because it leads to a lot of volatility and a continuous price crash whenever that happens. So now basically SEBI has mandated that we will no longer be using the SLM. We will only be using the stop loss limit. Okay. So what we set here is the trigger price first. What is the trigger price? The trigger price is the price at which the system will get a command from our side, even if we are not sitting on a system, that since 2228 has come in Reliance, set an order to sell 100 stocks of Reliance at the limit price. This is when we set the limit price. So what should the limit price be? Should it be higher than your trigger price? Should it be lower than your trigger price? See, when you're setting a stop loss, the best way to set the stop loss is to make sure that your order gets executed if that price gets triggered. And if you want to ensure that your order gets executed when the trigger price comes, then you should set your limit price below your trigger price. A lot of people have this notion that whenever the price triggers a stop loss or breaches a support, there is a pullback or a throwback in the price. Okay. The problem with that is that even if in 8 out of 10 cases that throwback happens, which is a very optimistic scenario, okay, even if that happens, there is a chance that in the two scenarios where the throwback does not happen and the price continues to break your support or your stop loss and continue to crash downward, your position will not get executed. And in my case, because I use stop losses based on key support levels, I have really seen a lot of times that whenever a stop loss gets triggered, it leads to heavy mark to market profits in the account. What does that mean? The mark to market profit on a positional stop, on a positional position after exit, it shows the amount of money that I did not lose because of the stop loss. Okay. So what I would suggest is that when you set the trigger price, you copy the same price and you paste it. Then you reduce the last digit of the trigger price to 1 or 2 digits lower. So since this is in the 2000 range, I will reduce it to say 2226. Okay. So what happens that even if the price gets triggered at 2228, if the seller at that point is willing to, if a buyer is willing to buy at 2228, your order will get executed at 2228. Why is that? Even though your limit price is 2226, your order will get executed at 2228 because the online trading system ensures that you get the best price possible. Okay, so it is beneficial for you to keep the limit price lower than your trigger price. This is in order to set any kind of stop loss, whether may it be your positional stop loss, may it be your intraday position stop loss, the rule remains the same. Okay. Now, if you want to set only the stop loss and not the target, then you can also go for the single order. The rule is the same. You set your quantity, you set your price or your percentage, and then you set your trigger price and your limit price, and you're set. Okay. You hit place, you go into orders, you click on GTT, and you will see that right here you have the position already set. So this is your positional stop loss. Okay. Now, if you want to set the intraday stop loss, the beauty about Zerodha trading account is that the process is exactly the same. However, this is not true for other brokerage accounts. Now, we all know already why we need stop losses in daily trade. Maybe be day traders or maybe positional traders. Why we need stop losses? Very simple, because stop losses protect our capital. Okay, when the market starts going against you, see, no matter how much conviction you have on your position, okay, even if you're buying the stock of Piccadilly, where, if you don't know what the stock of Piccadilly is, today somebody actually asked me for the query, that's why it's on the top of my mind. But Piccadilly is this company which produces alcohol, and its alcohol Indri has been announced as the best whiskey in the world. It's a really big deal, especially for a small company like Piccadilly. Now, even if you buy the stock of a company which is at the forefront in its market at the moment, you still need to use stop loss because you don't want your capital to get beaten down, your capital to get eroded if anything happens against you, right? In the stock market, there is no guarantee of profit any point of time. What you can guarantee is your action, irrespective of how the market unfolds. If you think about it, at any point of time, the market has only three ways to go. It can either go up, it can go sideways, or it can go down. Okay. For every single position that you have in your portfolio, it is very important that you determine what you will do when either of these three scenarios happen. When it goes sideways, you don't have to do anything. See, that is where the virtue of patience as a trader comes in. And for any trader, patience is the biggest virtue. So, sideways, there is absolutely no action for you. It's a wait and watch scenario. But what will you do when the prices go up or the prices go down? And remember, here we are talking specifically for swing trading in the long side of trades. Okay. So, if the prices go up, what do you do? Do you book profits? No. The answer is you trail your profits, you trail your position, you update your stop losses. How will you do that? Again, on the account of Zerodha only, I will show you. So suppose Reliance has moved up, and here you can see your trigger has changed from -3%, so to say -8%. See, the price of Reliance goes up really high. Okay, and I'm going to show you in both ways, where you set the GTT as only the stop loss GTT and the OCO, that is one cancels other. Basically, you're saying that I'm setting my stop loss and my target both. Okay. And why am I showing this today? Because especially for retail traders, this is very important to know. During the daytime, when you are busy in your job, when you're busy in your business and you're not looking at the market, you need someone to stand guard of your capital, because the stock market is very dangerous place for your capital. And this GTT order, the standing stop loss order, is the one thing that will stand guard to your capital. Okay. So suppose you want to set a 15% target. Okay. So we'll set this at say 2643. And again, in order to ensure that the target also gets executed, we will set the price at slightly lower, 2641. What we basically want, that even if there is a single tick execution, single tick that touches 2643, we want our position to get booked out. Okay, so we will place this order. Now, what basically happens is that as the price of Reliance starts to go up, you can see the LTP here, you can see the trigger prices here. For your bracket orders, you can see both the stop loss trigger price and the target trigger price. And for your only stop loss order, you can see the trigger price of the stop loss. You can notice 2228 is the same for both the prices, for both the different kind of orders. Now I was showing you how to revise your stop loss. Now suppose this trigger has gone from -8 to -3 to -8. Okay. At any point of time, you can also click on trigger and you can see where your stop losses have really grown. Okay, and then go stockwise to revise the stop loss. Sometimes he holds stocks for short-term positions, sometimes for slightly longer-term positions. Now, the longer-term positions, like for example, BBTC is a slightly longer-term position for me in this account. Okay, so BBTC, what I have done is I have a big stop loss there. Okay, LG Equip is a slightly shorter term position. So here with one click, I can see that I need to go back and look at my charts and revise this position stop loss again. Okay, similarly, see for Reliance, if you want to edit it, you'll again simply click on the three dot, click on edit and change your stop loss level and target level accordingly. Now, one more thing that I wish to show you is how I help my members in doing this very efficiently. Okay, so the whole act of swing trading, I have basically reduced it. The whole procedure of swing trading, basically, I have reduced it to a mere 15-minute exercise before going to bed for my clients of the Trade Together program. Now, if you want more information about the Trade Together program and how to do swing trading, then just join my Telegram channel. I'm dropping the link in the comment section for you. Or if you already use Telegram, just go on Telegram and search Trade with Kavita and hit enter. Then click on join when you find the channel. Right now, coming back. So this is what I call the active call database. Okay, and in this active call database, what you're seeing here, let me just zoom this out a little bit more so that you can see the whole thing in one go. Okay, You won't be able to read much, but that's not really the objective. So this one template that you're basically seeing, this is called the stock template. Okay. Now I give stock recommendation to my members, and as you can see, I mentioned the stop loss and the target. Not only that, the stop loss and the target is regularly updated, and the stop loss target update comes with a reminder, comes with a comment that you need to update your stop loss. And how to do that, the instruction is given to you through a tutorial, which is always linked to the active call database, right? So when you're doing trading in the market, you basically need to know what you will enter, when you will enter, at what price you will enter, and when you will exit, in what scenario you will exit, either when the target comes or when the stop loss comes. And this stop loss, that is the guard of your capital, you need to keep updating as the prices of the stocks change. Okay, so if you do your own analysis, if you trade independently, then you need to go back to your charts, you need to see which is the next best support level if the price has gone up, to set your stop loss, because you know you can't set your stop loss too close, because your position will unnecessarily get triggered. And if you're a member of the Trade Together program, you simply have to wait for my update, which is also shared on the Telegram channel with you. So you simply have to wait for my update on the Telegram channel and then update. So this is how you basically receive the update, with an update alert, with the name of a stock, and with the name of the like what you have to do if there's been a whiplash, if you need to re-enter, then re-enter, and what new stop loss you need to keep maintaining. So all of that detailed analysis is shared with you. Okay, so if you have to edit your stop loss, suppose I shared an edit from 2228 to, you know, raise your stop loss to 2320, then all you have to do is make this entry, right? And again, the limit price you need to set a few points below the trigger price to make sure that if your trigger comes, and even if the prices start sliding really quickly, your position gets executed. Okay, so suppose I told you the stop loss of 2320, so you set 2320 as a trigger, and then you set the limit price to slightly few points lower than what your trigger price is. You let the target be, and if you're feeling optimistic and you see the target is coming, you also revise the target. Correct? So that's one thing. So Zerodha, actually, the reason why I showed Zerodha first is because it is super simple. Okay, you want to change your stop loss, you just go to orders, you go to GTT, and you have all the GTTs which you have set in one place, whether it's a stop loss, whether it's a target, whatever. You come to holdings, you can see your holdings here, and that's it. That's all you care about: the positions, the holdings, the order, and the GTT button and the order button. That's it. You don't have to care about anything else. Now, let's take a look at something that is also really good, but not as good as Zerodha's stop loss setting feature. So I have been working with a lot of different brokerage accounts, and I find the service brokers accounts to be extremely complicated and extremely confusing. And I am saying this as a professional research analyst, a professional full-time stock trader. And trust me, if I am finding the service brokers accounts, the big broker names out there confusing, then I can't even imagine how a day-to-day retail trader or a layman functions with those trading accounts, right? And like in Zerodha, downloading your statements, going to back office, checking what your profit has been, what your tax stop losses, like everything is just super, super simple. Now, the next best account that I have found in my practice is the Angel One account. Okay, but in Angel One also, setting a positional stop loss is impossible, and I'll show you how. Suppose this is the Apollo Tires top position that I'm holding. Okay, if I click here, there is absolutely no option of setting any stop loss. So clearly, what is in the portfolio holding is something that I'm holding overnight. So it does not give the option of setting stop loss. Now, if I want the option of setting stop loss, I need to take the stock and I need to add it to my watch list. Okay, so let's say I add Apollo Tire to my watch list. Okay, so I see Apollo Tire is already there. Let me just create a new watch list so that, you know, we don't get lost. There. So I will add Apollo Tire. All right. Now that it is added, I will remove the search button. See, it's a day-to-day usability also which matters, right? Okay. Next, what we will do is we'll click on the 3 button and we can see there is a create GTT order here as well. When I click on the create GTT, the window opens. In this window, it allows me to create a product type delivery GTT to purchase the stock. okay? But I don't want to purchase the stock. I want to set a stop loss, which means I want to set a standing order or a good till trigger sell order for my delivery position. And here's what I will do. I set this to delivery, I set this to sell, and then I'll set this to delivery. Now you can see this option is getting activated, okay? Now I set my quantity. What is my quantity here? Around 155, okay? I set 155. Now, the trigger price. Now, obviously for the stop loss, if I want to set, the trigger price will have to be negative. So I'm going to set this to -2, which is, say it is taking at 375, 78. Now my price, that is the limit price, right? Because here there is a toggle for limit and market. And as I said, the stop loss market orders are no longer allowed. So it will set at stop loss limit. So this I will now change to 300 and say 76. And let's place the order. So I already clicked once, but this window hasn't gone, which is not a big deal also. We'll go to orders and we'll go to GTT. You can see that the GTT is absolutely not missing. The biggest problem is that this interface is not even telling me what is basically happening to my order. Okay, let's try again. 3 buttons. And now it says the GTT created successfully. We have created a GTT order on your behalf. Please ensure you have the required margin to complete. Failing to do so will result in order rejection. Okay, lots and lots of messages there. Let's just refresh this, go to GTT, and okay. So we can see here that the GTT got formed, okay? This GTT got formed. Now it will be on me tomorrow to check whether this actually still remains or not. What I have seen in Angel One account is that even though this GTT order got created right now, when tomorrow goes, this GTT order is going to get cancelled because the GTT orders or the stop loss orders don't get carried forward to the next day. Okay, so this is something that I will be updating on my Telegram channel. And if you want to know whether this stop loss positional order went through on Angel One or not, you should go there. But one more thing that is very important to see here is how easy or how difficult it is to set the stop loss in the first place. Okay, so the very act of watching your portfolio or your holding statement requires at least 3 clicks here, which in Zerodha was again just 1 click. So here from the holding statement itself, setting a GTT order, okay, let's see. We can also click on sell, we can set stop loss, click on delivery, select quantity, set the trigger price, and set up a stop loss here. But whether it gets carried forward to the next day or not is what the question is. From what I have seen, it does not get carried forward. But coming back to why we need stop losses. So day stop losses are very good when you want to do day trading. But if you are a positional trader like I am, then making sure that your broker gives you the overnight stop loss facility is very important. Because see, it's not realistic for you to set your stop loss orders every single day. And that is a really big problem. Sorry, give me a moment here. All right, now let's see. So when it comes to execution of your stop loss order, there is one very important hygiene point that I want to remind all of you about. It's basically called the DDPI. Okay. What DDPI is basically that at any point of time, if you want to sell a holding from your account, you need to make sure that you have given your broker the power of attorney. Basically, you are authorizing your broker to sell the stocks if there is a standing order, right? And how do you do that? Now, if you don't do this, then no matter which brokerage account you're using, and even if you're using the Zerodha, and even if you're setting your stop loss properly, And even if the trigger comes, your order is going to get rejected. Why? Because you will be required to set the CDSL T pin before the order gets triggered. And if you don't set the CDSL T pin, what the system sees is that the broker does not have the authorization to sell your holdings. That's why your order gets rejected by the system. So how will you go forward and activate the DDPI? It's very simple. Just go to the Zerodha support portal or just go to Google and search Zerodha DDPI, and you can also search how to activate DDPI for the account or how to set POA, power of attorney, right? And in your Zerodha account, if you want to set DDPI, you just need to download the DDPI form, which is a very simple form. You have to sign in like 4 places, and then you need to courier it. So with all of my members, as soon as they join the Trade Together program, I remind them this is a very important formality that they need to fulfill. And because it is also mentioned as optional when we open the Zerodha account, it is very easy to overlook this or ignore this because it's called it's an optional formality. But if you want to succeed as a swing trader and you want to make sure that your capital does not experience unnecessary risk, then it's very important that you fulfill this tiny little responsibility. Now, this is all I had to share about stop losses, day stop loss versus positional stop loss. And we took the examples of 2 trading accounts. Now, if you use Angel One or Zerodha, you can come back to this video at any point of time and make sure that you're following the correct steps to setting your stop losses, right? I personally prefer Zerodha trading accounts because the interface and the ease of use is just next level. In my opinion, it's the best brokerage account in the world. And this is not a sponsored post. This is my genuine admiration for the software, for the whole interface of Zerodha. Now, with this, I want to end this session with some Q&A. So if you have stock queries for me, please feel free to post the stock and your cost price so that I can look at the charts and give you some heads up. Usually in the retail traders series, I also don't talk about Nifty, but today I will, because over the weekend there's been some very disturbing news which clearly has given rise to a lot of anxiety among retail traders. So today a lot of my members have been messaging me asking where the market bottom is going to happen, whether the rally is going to start, when the rally is going to start, and what to expect next. So I thought, why not take a couple minutes in this session and answer those questions. So Nifty, as we can see, and if you also saw the Friday's Market Outlook series, there we had seen that the Nifty had just breached above the resistance of 19,600. And there itself, I had said that a small pullback may be expected down till 19,500. That is pretty much exactly what we saw today. It's just that because of the presence of a negative news, that is the war in Israel, what happened because of that, the correction, which otherwise the pullback, which would have maybe taken 2 or 3 days, happened in one go. It happened with a massive gap down. Okay. As long as the market is above 19,500, in my opinion, the market is still strong. If the level of 19,500 gets breached, in that situation, as long as the market is continuing to stay above the level of 19,200, I would believe that the market is still in a position to recover. If 19,200 gets breached, that is when the worry starts. So as long as the market is between the range of 19,600 to 19,200, I and my members continue to create fresh positions for the next leg of upswing. Okay. What I see is that since Nifty has broken above this high, it has created a higher high. I'm going to change the color to white. It has created a higher high, which is positive. And my expectation is that the trend is going to continue here. So even if there is a small correction and we come back down to say 19,300 or even 19,200, as long as we bounce back up, we are good to go. Okay. So if you have long positions right now, I would strongly suggest you against panic selling, but I would urge you to set your stop losses. Now, if you don't know where your stop loss should be, what you can do is, again, you can join my Telegram channel. Very simple. Just search Trade with Kavita. Kavita is my name. Trade with Kavita on this thing, and any post that you see, right, just leave a comment there with the stock and the position. So I am able to see all your queries in this chat group, and here I take some time to constantly respond to the queries which have been asked by the members. Okay, so if you wish to also connect with me and have your stock positions protected with stop losses, then joining my Telegram channel is a very good way of connecting with me. All right. So let's take some questions. So we have, um, all right, let's see. So we have someone who's reminding that I know who's reminding that people are waiting on YouTube. I know I faced some technical error because of which my YouTube absolutely refused to let me go live. So that is the reason why I shared the link of the ET platform so everybody could come here and watch. All right. So we have two people asking for view of Rajesh Export. So let's take a look at Rajesh Export. So Rajesh Expo is a stock that people ask about very often. And I'll tell you exactly what I tell everybody, that Rajesh Expo is a very risky stock to trade in. It's not a very high quality stock. That being said, it does have a tendency to give massive swings. So if you want to trade in the stock, I would not suggest you to trade for a short term period, definitely. I would suggest you to make positions, if at all, for a long term period. Now, few weeks back, actually in August 22, I did give a recommendation to my members, but because the low got breached, I exited that position. Today, what I see that even a trend line got breached in this stock, and I am personally not very positive on this stock. I would suggest you to make long positions only if the stock gives a reversal and goes back above the 200 EMA of the 75-minute time frame. Until and unless it does that, I would tell you to strongly avoid the stock. All right. So we don't. So if you want me to take a look at your queries, please be sure to mention your cost price also. Or if you don't want to mention the cost price, or if you want a fresh analysis, then please ask for the analysis on the Telegram channel. All right. So I think there is still one. Okay, we'll take Anu's query. The query is about HLE glass coat. Again, almost every session, one person or the other asks about this stock also, and I don't understand why, because this stock has been in a downtrend since nearly 1.5 years now, and there is no sign of recovery whatsoever. So even HLE, I don't think is a very good stock. In fact, what I'm seeing is heavy selling with very high volumes. So taking a fresh position in the stock is definitely not recommended for anybody. So Anukiran, this stock does not look like a good stock to maintain in your portfolio. If you continue to maintain the position thinking that you will sell when you break even, you're basically wasting away the potential of your capital. No matter what the loss is, my recommendation to you would be to exit it and take the loss, because, and this is why. So if you see here, right, look at this section. You see this volume uptick. This volume uptick happened against some upside movement, and yet the stock went up to only 200 EMA on daily time frame and fell back down. How much did it fall back down from there? It fell nearly 42%. Then it again gave a mere 42% rally, and it has been falling now. And just now it has started falling on very high volumes, which is an indication that this downside can very well exceed at least 10, 15, even 35% more. So whatever loss is there, I would suggest rip the band-aid off, get out of it, and start trading in a more systematic manner. And of course, if you need help with that, I am there for you. I'm a SEBI registered research analyst, and I'll be more than happy to set you up for success in the world of swing trading. All right, moving on. We have a query on Tata Power by a guest who's bought it at 250. Tata Power. All right, so let's see. Tata Power is not looking very, very positive, but let's also look at the 15-minute time frame. I can see there is a negative range shift, and the price continues to slightly be on the decline. So right now, I would not suggest you to. So you are basically at break even, right? Okay, so there was some signs of weaknesses coming in at the stock when it reached the level of 270. Ideally, your position should have been exited by now, but since you're still holding on to it, I will strongly recommend you to maintain your stop loss. Okay, it's like a pretty big stop loss, unfortunately. But okay, so I would recommend that you maintain a stop loss somewhere around the level of 230. Now I know it's like a 7% massive stop loss, but that's the next logical swing low. The good thing is that even the upside is pretty open here. So there is a 30% upside. So your stop loss would be around 7% at 230 and your target should be around 319 on the stock right now, which still gives you a risk reward of more than 3, which is, a position worth holding on to. All right. So that was Tata Power for you. We have a query on something called Tube Investment. I have not sure if I have studied the stock. Oh, TII. Okay, got it. TII India, let's see. So, okay, it's a perpetual bull stock, which is good. And the stock has given has basically started a fresh leg of rally and is now giving a pullback to the 200 EMA, which is also good. The 200 EMA is expected to lend support. So if you have an active position which is rather fresh in Tube India, then I would suggest you to please maintain a stop loss at 2750. Okay, 2750 would be your stop loss in Tube India. And on the upside, I think this is the beginning of a fresh uptrend. So this stock should be good for an upside of at least 15 to 20%. So you can put your target down as 3500. Okay, 3500 would be your target. Okay, so that's Aarti. No, so next query is on Aarti Drugs. Okay, let's open Aarti Drugs. Now, if you're finding the knowledge that I'm sharing, the analysis that I'm doing for you beneficial, then please don't forget to give this live stream a thumbs up before you leave. All right, so what I can see, what I can see on Aarti Drugs is that it has given us a bit of a top out near the level of 600 with a RSI negative divergence. Okay, the good thing is that ever since the stock has topped out here and the correction has started, so the stock is corrected around 17-18% from the top. What I can see that the volume has been significantly on the decline, which means that there is not a lot of participation in this decline, which is usually an early sign of price reversal. The only thing is we don't know exactly when the price reversal is going to come. But there is a strong support. Firstly, this horizontal support zone, which you can see I've marked with a green color highlight. And there is also support from multiple important EMAs. One is the 200 EMA of the daily time frame and one is the 500 EMA also of the daily time frame. So basically, this is a very, very important support zone for the stock. So if you are holding Aarti Drugs right now, okay, I would suggest you keep accumulating it, but make sure that you don't allocate more than 5 to 8% of your total holdings to the stock, right? Because if you want to succeed in swing trading, allocation matters just as much as your choice of stock, okay? In fact, it matters more. All right, so your stop loss basically should be slightly below this cluster of support that we have seen here. So this looks like a pretty good zone to me. So maintain a stop loss of around 560, 549, sorry, 460, not 500. 460 should be your stop loss in Aarti Drugs. And on the upside, what I can see is that there is a strong potential for the stock to go up to 703. So if you look at this risk reward ratio, so the downside is I know it's a little big downside because the market is very volatile right now, but on the upside also, if you see, the potential is around 37%, which is not bad at all. All right, so we have query on Mazdoc. All right, so Mazdoc today has given a little bit of a negative movement, and what I see, from a long-term perspective, it's a really, really good stock. But if you're asking me from a short-term perspective, then I see the stock has a strong support at the level of 2030. Okay, so this is a strong support. Why? Because obviously there is the 200 EMA of the 75-minute time frame, which I have seen act as a very good support a lot of times for different stocks. And there is also the previous peak there. So that is the reason why your stop loss has to be at the level of 1992 or 1990 to be on the safer side. With that, you can hold the stock for a good target of 2690. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay, so unfortunately, I need to hop because I have another commitment that I need to attend to immediately. So I'm going to end this session right here. But if you've benefited from what I have shared, and if you like my analysis, and if you wish to work with me as your financial advisor in the world of stock market, then join my Telegram channel and you'll find a call link with there to connect with me one on one, and that's the best way to connect. You can alternatively also click the link shared by the ET moderator to book a call with me, and then we can discuss a very beneficial strategy for you to succeed in the stock market. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you again on Wednesday at 4:30 in the Let's Get Technical series, where I bring to you hardcore technical analysis, just like what we did in the last section. We will do it throughout the session. So I will see you again on Wednesday. Thank you for joining. Namaste.